What is your name, please?
My name is Carol Chatterton Thomas.
Okay, now, what is your relationship to Ozzie? Because we're here talking about him, memories about him. What is your relation to Ozzie?
Uncle Ozzie is the brother in law of my dad, William Chatterton, and his sister Norma was Uncle Ozzie's wife, Alex and Andrew's mother.
Okay, so you knew him a long time ago.
Yes, all of my life.
Okay, so tell me, we heard a whole lot about him today, about his character, about the way he was. What is it about him that stands out most in your mind?
Uncle Ozzie was a Renaissance man. He was so loving and knowledgeable and cultured and debonair, and he always had something positive to say. He made you feel good when you spoke to him, and he left you with words of encouragement, and he was a little devilish too in the things that he said. So it gave you a smile and a good laugh all the time.
Now, did that type of style, was that a family trait or did that come from his environment where he was raised?
I think a little bit of both. I'm sure that the culture and the African American experience in Harlem at that time and was very profound in his life as far as his family, having Caribbean roots as well as Southern, that all of that melded together to make him a very strong black man. He was unapologetically black and universally human. So he had the diversity that we all need in life.
That's a very interesting observation, especially from his era, because he came from an era where you could really be hurt for being yourself.
Exactly. And when he was coming up, we did, in some respects, appreciate our Africanness or celebrated certain characteristics that we had. So he was ahead of his time, no question.
Why did we revert, I'll say outside of New York anyway?
In terms of how we related or our
And, and,
cultural,
and you can keep going.
yes, no question. I think that's just something we had to do as a people to stay strong, to be committed to our community. We were one. We were family. Whether we were related or not, it was always an extendedness that we had.
You're saying some very insightful things. When you said that we were one, that was during the time of segregation. So we were one.
Yes. And that, it's interesting because we strove so hard to have integration. But in the process of that, did we lose some of ourselves? In segregation, we had to stay together. We had after the Civil War, over 100 independent black communities. Bankers, lawyers, doctors, teachers. And what happened to those communities? They were destroyed. So, what did we really achieve?
So by that analogy, we're heading in for the good times now because things are going to be resegregated.
And we don't want to, I guess, say that because of the incoming administration that it's going to force us to come back together.
Listening to your comments, what you just described are the good old days that people talk about back. They want to make America great again, and that's what they're talking about.
Well, that wasn't for us. See, we had a separate culture. We had a separate way of being, and Not to because that's what we wanted. That's the situation we found ourselves in. So yes, we wanted to be a part of America and to be treated as equal as we should. But in that process, did we lose all the distinct characteristics that made us who we are as a people? We have to always hold on to that because that's what Uncle Ozzie represented. A long lineage of strong black men and women.
Now, was that analysis true not only on his side, but his wife's side also?
Yes, it was. However, our family on my dad's side was splintered because their mom died when my dad was young. Norma was the oldest, and it was hard for them because they grew up without a mother. And their father worked on steamship, so he was away. And they grew up with the extended community, extended family members, and those who they made family. And that's a wonderful thing. But the Osborne side is definitely a long lineage.
Now, are you a New Yorker yourself?
Yes, I am.
You know, what is it? Is there still something special about the mindset there or the aura versus folks in the Midwest?
It's an interesting question. I just think that because it was the big city and many people came from the South going to big urban cities. After Reconstruction, Jim Crow, people migrated. And then you had the immigrants coming from the West Indian, South America, Central America, that made a mark. And so you had all the melding of all these distinctively African cultures that were from Spanish-speaking cultures, British, French, and that made it a very unique place to grow up.
But when those cultures came in, they stayed there. I mean, and that's where New York is geographically located. It's right there on the coast.
Yes.
So they didn't have a chance to come across the country and be filtered or have that strong ethnicity diluted.
Diluted, right. But I think with all the technology and just jobs, we were very and still are entrepreneurial people. So we went all over to find opportunity. And I'm sure if we look back at our history and our family ties, there are people that we don't even know who could be in Seattle, Washington, for example, or in Texas. That's how we spread out, and sometimes we lost definitely a lot of contact because we didn't have the communication. People had to work and take care of their immediate family, so a lot of the strong ties were lost in some respects.
So, in final analysis, what key things we always remember, not only about Ozzie, but that you would want to share with your grandkids and so on and so forth about him so that they can embody those same characteristics?
It's so incredible to see that we as a people are still striving no matter what. We are loyal, we are hardworking, we love each other, our community. It's just amazing that Uncle Ozzie, he could have been anywhere and he stayed with his family and created new families and new roots, and he loved everyone. He came to Michigan and had a golfing family and things that we learned about and met new people through him and his new wife, Valerie. We love her, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to share that because she has so much history in her family as well. So It's amazing. We want to keep that going. We want to teach our young people to know their heritage, to be proud, and to always stay connected. Always stay connected.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.